Hello, 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 beautiful people. And the people said, hello. And the people said, hello. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. It feels good to be back. It feels good to be greeting you in the new year. If you are still accepting and welcoming New Year's greetings, Happy New Year to you. I hope we make this year a good one, starting with this video. If you are new here, I'm Conscious Togo, and this is our Conscious Parenting platform. So, what got me thinking about today's video is that as we enter into the new year, as we enter into the new season, there's a lot of things that we plan for. We plan for our careers, we plan for our health, we plan for our personal lives. And I thought to myself, why not plan for something that will improve our relationships with our children? And so, what better way to enter the new year with parenting goals? So today's video is about parenting goals and really pretty much to set the tone for the relationships that we want with our children. If we're not going to be putting in the work, then we are not going to have the relationships that we want with them. And so just as with everything else, we have to be intentional about it, and we have to make sure that we have something to always remind us of what it is that we want. So I welcome you. As I've said, Happy New Year to you. I hope we make it a good one, and together I think, yeah, we shall thrive. So without really wasting too much time, because I've got quite a lot that I want to go through with you, I want you to be able to, as you finish watching this video, I want you to be able to know the three types of goals in parenting. The type which is better. I want you to know how to set your goals. I want you to also know how to accomplish your goals, and I want you to know the best parenting goals. So by the time you and I finish having our conversation, you would know all five of those areas, and we will take the conversation forward should we need to get to that. So as I start, the thing about goals is that the reality is life truly takes a drastic turn when you set the right goals, right? When we speak of goals in parenting, we are speaking about that which you wish to accomplish in your parenting. And we have goals to keep us on track. And by focusing on them, we are aligning ourselves with what's important, right? I know that the challenge with most parents is that they face overwhelm from day-to-day responsibilities. This often leads to parents prioritizing short-term goals over long-term goals. Therefore, long-term goals tend to be pushed on the side pretty much because of the daily chaos. So choosing the right goal is going to be important so that the one doesn't obstruct the other. So as we continue, before we continue, what's important for us to note is that there are obvious goals and there are hidden goals, right? There are obvious goals and there are hidden goals. So an example of a hidden goal obstructing a long-term goal would be, for example, most parents set a goal of no yelling, right? To ultimately have better relationships with our children. That would be the long-term goal. And so the kids will comply for a few while until comes such a time where the child doesn't listen and the parents are back to square one, where there's screaming and really misunderstanding. So the other thing with that is that parents then convince themselves that the only way to get children to listen is by yelling, which is not true. So, what is wrong with that scenario? Firstly, setting a no yelling as a goal is not a true objective in life, right? So, what we are actually trying to identify here is what is the hidden goal? The hidden goal is obedience. The hidden goal is obedience. If this goal is met, then parents are happy and they are able to have better relationships with our children, and pretty much be able to develop that long-term relationship with our children. However, if parents are not happy, then what happens, right? And as much as parents may want to be close with our children, what happens is that they put the condition of obedience in front of that, right? So obedience becomes a condition at which they are willing to have a good relationship with their children. And the thing with the parent-child relationship is that if you are constantly shouting at your kid, constantly yelling, giving out punishment, what you are doing is that you are deteriorating the relationship between you and your child, because children listen to people they feel connected to. Children listen to people they feel connected to. So a parent's behavior and outcomes are highly influenced by the types of goals they set. The types of goals that you set will influence how you behave, and it will influence the outcomes that you have ultimately with your child. So research actually shows us that there are three types of goals in parenting. Three types of goals in parenting. The first one is parent-centered goals. The second one is child-centered goals. And the third one is relation-centered goals, right? Parent-centered goals, child-centered goals, and relation-centered goals. Parent-centered goals focus on the needs and wants of the parent. So we are talking about compliance and obedience. At the center of it is the need to control. From a short-term perspective, the goal is to change a certain behavior which will meet our needs, right? Is to change the certain behavior which will meet our needs, right? In the discipline area, the parent-centered goal, power assertion is used. So there's yelling, there's punishment, and threats. And as a result, the interaction between the parent and the child is filled with negative emotions. The second one is child-centered goals. Child-centered goals. So here we are looking at pro-social behaviors, which are values and lessons that parents with child-centered goals want to impart to their children. The teaching of personal and social lessons is the main goal. With the child's future and benefit in mind, they teach children about values and social rules. And when it comes to the discipline side of things, fewer power assertions are exerted, right? The method here of discipline is one which is positive, and the parents approach difficult situations with calm. There's an openness to reasoning and discussing matters, and even affording children the opportunity to have options, right? In general, in terms of their character, these parents are more accepting, they are flexible, and they are warm. The third one is relation-centered goals. Relation-centered goals focuses on nurturing family relationships to ensure closeness and harmonious connections. Ultimately, what's important here is for the building of trust to take place, for love, and for close family connections. That's what's important here. They achieve this by being empathetic, responsive, and warm. Their priority is their child's feelings and desires, and reaching a certain level of acceptance and understanding. When it comes to the discipline side of things, their solutions are founded on cooperativeness and negotiation strategies. That's quite a mouthful, but please stick with me. So, with all these three now mentioned, the next question becomes, which type of goal is better, right? I'd imagine you're thinking to yourself, okay, fine, which type of goal is better? I've got news for you. The focus is not which type of goal is good or bad, but the behavior inspired by them leads to differences in parenting styles and outcomes, right? So, for parent centered goals, an authoritarian behavior is what you can expect, while child centered and relation centered goals lead to authoritative behaviors. In general, authoritarian parenting styles result in worse outcomes than the authoritative parenting styles. Experts and psychologists generally would recommend the authoritative parenting style as a style of choice. And this is because these parents tend to be more effective parents. And by using the child centered and relation centered goals, you are most likely to have better parenting outcomes. Now, what we then move to is how to set our goals. How to set our goals. So, we set goals as a way of identifying what is of priority to us and which behaviors will assist us in achieving that objective. For most of us, our long-term goal is to have better relationships with our children and improve our relationships. However, our short-term behaviors sometimes suggest something different. Therefore, clarity on what you want to achieve in the long run is important because you want there to be an alignment between your long-term goals and the actions that you are going to be taking in order to achieve your long-term goals, right? That's why it's so important to have clarity on that. So, an example of a short-term or an example of long-term goal not being achieved because of your short-term actions would be, the truth is, when we look at it, us as parents have really high expectations. We expect our children to be successful. We expect them to be happy. We expect them to be independent. We expect them to be responsible. But we also want them to do everything that we want. We want them to comply without asking any questions, right? So some parents hold the belief that children who achieve parent-centered goals will succeed in life because, well, they are being obedient and therefore they will succeed. However, this is far from the lived reality. Parents who aim to achieve short-term parent-centered goals often compromise long-term goals, right? This is not to say that you can't have both. However, the traditional discipline method used to meet parent-centered goals is flawed and it doesn't result in what you are intending. It's important to note that. So now we get to how to accomplish our goals. The three types of goals are not at odds with each other, but there's a specific order they must follow in order for you to attain them. First comes the relationship. First comes the relationship. And this is because all other goals or everything else that you want will be easier for you to achieve if you have a solid foundation with your children. The reason is that when children feel connected to you, they are more likely to listen and comply. And even more special is that they will most likely even adopt the same values as you. So if you value education, they'll probably value education. If it's music that you love, they'll be into music. all because of the special bond that you have with your children, right? And really moving us to our last one is best parenting goal. To strengthen the relationship with your child, aim for goals that are relation centered first and build on a close, healthy parent child relationship, which is a foundation for your child's happiness, success, and well being. Don't undervalue parental love. A child who feels seen and loved is most likely to cooperate with you. The process is not glamorous. It takes time and energy, and it's not just quick fixes, but it's most certainly yields better results. And so, for just to leave you with some good parenting goals, for the example, to get you to kick start your goal setting with your children, these are the examples that you can refer to as you look back. The first one would be learn more about child development. So that could be a goal, to learn more about child development. Second one could be to be supportive and foster independence. A third one could be to allow open communication. And the third one could be to spend more time in self-care. And the fifth one could be to turn a challenging situation into a learning opportunity. So I know I've said a mouthful. I want to leave it here, but I also want to encourage you to please subscribe to our channel, like the content, click the notification bell so you can be notified of future uploads. And if this was something that is going to aid you in your parenting, share it with parents or caregivers in need. I look forward to seeing you in our next video. Thank you for watching.